Welcome to the Healthy Life podcast that doesn't hold back. We discuss all subjects from wellness, healthy eating and fitness. Welcome to Healthy Life.
Hi, it's Gemma Whitehouse here from Home-Start Surrey, and today we are turning the tables because I'm going to be asking the questions to Dee Shepherd.
Hi, how are you?
It's very exciting. I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
I am really excited. So glad to be here and actually to be in the other shoes for a change. But I know I am in safe hands. So
you are indeed. So today we're going to talk about actually something that's come about. That actually the charity I work for, Home-Start, you've realised that actually you have had a connection with Home-Start many, many years ago.
Yeah. So I'm a mum with twin daughters and a son. But years ago, my story is that I was a single parent with twin daughters. And I don't come from a big family. There wasn't a lot of friends around to help. And because they were working at the time and so on. And when I actually had my daughters, I actually had preeclampsia. So I had them 7 weeks early. So I never got to go to work and do the last day at work. And apparently, I didn't even get to see a photo. Apparently, my desk was all decorated with balloons and everything. But I'd had these symptoms for a while. And it was like every time we did a checklist with the NHS, it was like I was asked about A, B and C, but not X, Y and Z. So eventually it was the night before I was due to finish work, 7 weeks before they were due. And the next thing, it was just, I had to go straight to A&E. It was a really scary time. And within 48 hours, the consultant made the decision, we need to do an emergency section because otherwise we're going to lose babies and mum. So I was in the hospital with my daughters for 5 weeks.
Whoa.
Yeah, so I literally had my own room there. And actually, when you look at it now, it was a blessing because they really showed me the ropes on how to be a mum.
So this is when you first became a parent?
This is what... Yeah.
You didn't have your son already?
No, he's 12 going on 13. So... It was a case of, for the first few weeks, I didn't even get to see the girls. They were in, well, I got to see them, but they were in incubators. And it was literally where you have to put your hands in through the gloves to touch them. And their skin looked like it was just fine silk because they were so little, such small little babies. And then it was a case of we went through the process. They weren't allowed out of hospital until they were certain weights, basically. But what happened while I was in hospital, friends were brilliant. So friends were around my house and they were sorting out all these clothes had been given to me or donated. And I'd got 7 weeks to sort that out, which I thought, no, obviously nothing. So everyone had rallied around. They'd put clothes in boxes like 0 to 3, 3 to 6. But nobody realised that the girls were underweight and they were prem. So in the hospital, they used to have ladies that would knit doll-sized clothes.
I think I've heard about this.
Yeah. Oh gosh, when you see it on the inside and you meet all the other mums who have had prem babies as well, and we were essentially clothing the girls in dolls' baby grows at first because that's how little they were. So they taught me how to hold them and how to bath them and then how to feed them. Would they even be able to feed? Like natural feeding. And then as they built up with more weight and with they grew and they were getting the right results that they needed, eventually we were allowed to come home. So that was coming home. But when I came home, everybody had helped rally round. They'd made the bedrooms look nice. They'd sorted out where the girls were going to go. And they'd built the cot that hadn't even been built by the time I was in hospital. And then it came to the stage where I was at home now and I would see my midwife regularly. And she would say to me, how's it going? And I remember before the midwife would come round, I'd be like trying to make the house look nice. I'd be like trying to get my hair shampooed or something like that. Like, it's perfect. Everything's fine. I'm managing really well. I'm doing brilliant at this. And it was just, that was exhausting in itself, let's be honest. I mean, I could be myself in front of my friends, but with my midwife, it's like trying to hold it together, but she knew, Gemma. She was like, do you think you'd benefit from a little bit more help? And I was like, well, yeah, maybe. Why? Who is it? Is it this? Is it that? And you automatically think, is it a conspiracy theory? Are they trying to say I'm not a good mum? It was nothing like that. And she said, you know what? There's this group called Home-Start. And I was like, right, okay, still a bit like, what's all that about? She said, don't worry. She said, it's volunteers. It's mums who've been through this before. They're just going to come around. They'll probably give you an hour or 2 hours to do what you want. You know, what do you think you'd do with that? And I was like, 2 hours to do what I want.
Priceless.
Priceless. What does that sentence mean? Anyway, I was just like, yeah, I'll meet her. Okay, so I went for it, I'll meet her. And again, I was like making sure that, like, don't go beyond the front room because it's a bomb site after that, behind that door. Just come in the front room. I'll make you a drink. I'll make you a brew. What would you like? Look at me being Wonder Woman with twins. Da, 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 da. She's like, Dee, you sit down and I'll make the brew. And it's a bit like, you know, like, don't go through that door. You'll see the truth.
One thing Home-Start volunteers do not care about is a messy house.
100%. And she was like, she just sort of like laid the land straight away. She was like, Dee, you can take the mask off. You know what? And we formed such a great friendship that it was like having, I mean, I had my mum as well to help, but my mum was working full time. But this was like being able to talk to someone that wasn't directly involved in my situation, or I didn't have a direct relationship with. So I couldn't let her down. And she had no preconceptions about if I'd done a good job or I hadn't. She was just there to help me. And she would see areas that I needed help in. Like, she would say, do you want me to watch the girls while you just go and sort out that, you know, the washing, or take it out or fold it? Or because actually it's quite therapeutic doing the washing or folding the washing.
And knowing that your children are safe.
And knowing that they're safe. And also finishing a job and a brew. Finishing a brew, Gemma. Don't underestimate the power of finishing a brew. And she was consistent. And she would turn up. And I ended up, I mean, it was only a couple of hours a week, but it was a couple of hours where she was a godsend. I would like have conversations with her that probably started with, am I going crazy, ... And she'd be like, no, Dee, you're not. Everyone's been through this, or that's totally natural. She was the emotional support. She was the safe support. I could be myself. She helped me with the girls.
If you're still in your pajamas when she comes round.
Yeah.
Doesn't
and you know
matter.
what? We got to that stage as well, which was, Dee, you don't have to do that. I just want you to just relax, take a load off, and whenever I arrive, you just let me know what I can help with. So it'd be a case of, I'm just trying to, like, she'd come in and midway through a feed, I'd go, I'm doing the girls, can I pass that to you? The kettle's on, I'm going to go and do blah, blah, blah. It was like we became friends. She was really trusted lady, and she was an older lady, and I really respected her because, you know what, she didn't look down on me. And people can do that, especially if you're a single parent and especially if you're younger. But she never, ever did that to me.
That's what all Home-Start volunteers have. We actually are trained to just be non-judgmental and actually really listen to people.
Yeah.
So, it does come naturally to the sort of person that's going to volunteer anyway. But they're the sort of people that we're looking for, basically. Somebody who's going to be non-judgmental, who will give up a couple of hours a week. It's not that much, really. Yeah. You know, there's a lot of hours in the week. And we're hearing from you now what a difference it can really make.
Yeah. If I had to say there was one word that she provided me at that time...
Tissues, quick.
She was a lifeline to me. She was, I'd like to think she looked forward to it just as much as I did. But she was an absolute lifeline. And I was so thankful that even though I was trying to hold it together, that my midwife knew. And she went, I think you need a little bit of extra help, Dee, because you're putting it all together. But just in case it's fraying at the edges, which it probably was fraying at the edges, and I didn't realise how much it was, and I didn't realise how much I needed that volunteer from Home-Start. So I think don't try and hold it together like you're holding it together. It's okay to be falling apart. It's okay to answer the door with baby sick on your shoulder and the washing a pile high and you're still in last night's pyjamas and etc. etc. Like you said, Gemma, there was no judgment. There was pure support, and it was the right person at the right time, and really helped me get through that and grow in confidence, and also to be given that nod to go, you're doing a great job.
Absolutely. It's actually music to my ears that you're sharing this story. I really appreciate you sharing this with us. And it's not easy talking about this sort of stuff, especially when you're such a strong person.
Yeah.
And the person that you are today, probably, you know, it's helped make you the person that you are today, having that help.
Yeah, she gave me permission to be vulnerable, to be scared, and because no one teaches you this lesson at school, do they, to be how to be a mum. And she just let me know that it's going to be okay, and you're doing okay, and I'm there for you. And just really helped me in so many ways, and even to the point where we had little mini goals, and it was like, how about one day we get the girls in the double buggy and we do a walk around the block, because she knew how much I wanted to get out, but I got trapped in my own head, in my own house, in my own schedule, and she was like, I'm going to be there with you, we can do this. And even that, just going around the block, knowing that we can do that, and she grew my confidence so that I can now do this once a day or once a week, or you know, with her or without her.
Exactly, and that is key, because a Home-Start volunteer's job is to make themselves redundant. We want to go in there, we want to help those families, to give them so much confidence that eventually they won't even need us.
Yeah,
and that's a job well done.
And that's the measure, and that was exactly what happened. She probably knew before I knew, and then I'd got ties with her and probably didn't want her to go, but I knew it was the right thing for her to go. And I also knew that I had to let her go because there was somebody who was just like me where I was that now needed her more than I did.
That is exactly the case. When it becomes a nice to have rather than a real need, then that's when we know it's time to move on, even though it's hard.
Yeah, it must be really hard from the volunteers' perspective as well, because you do form, because you're so vulnerable and you're so raw, and they do build that rapport up instantly. You've only got an hour or 2 hours. You've got no choice but to build rapport and to be really vulnerable and really open and honest with each other. So yeah, definitely the departure of her leaving, it was a natural ebb and flow of my journey with the girls. And I think I was at that point then, friends were coming round and we were going into the local town centre, and life was a little bit more doable now. But I 100% will say, with my hand on heart, I don't think I could have done it without her. And I didn't even know that I needed her, but I needed her.
Amazing. And how are your girls doing now? Is that going to make you cry again? Sorry.
Oh, okay. They're doing fabulous. They've just finished secondary school. One's going on into hairdressing, one's going on into performing arts. They both have amazing, strong characters. They are inspirational, and I think the sky's the limit for them, and they inspire me every single day.
Oh, that's amazing to hear. Thank you so much. And can I just ask, what would be your message to anyone out there who is, first of all, considering having Home-Start as a family, and then second of all, any message to potential volunteers out there?
Okay, so don't think about it, just do it. If it gets offered on the table, don't let it pass you by. Don't let it pass you by. If someone's recognised that there's a need for you to have that, trust the professionals. They know exactly what they're doing, and don't let your pride get in the way. Squash that pride, put it in the nappy bin, get it out the back door, whatever it is, whatever your circumstance is, go with what has been offered to you, because they're like gold dust anyway. There's not enough of them.
Well, this is my point. This is the thing. We don't need to advertise for families. The families that need us find us. It's the volunteers that we really need.
I think I would say is, if you are naturally inclined to be a caring person anyway, that's a prerequisite. If you can build rapport, and you know, if you get satisfaction from serving others and from sharing your knowledge and experience of life, so that someone else who that in any other circumstance you would never have had that open door to be able to do that and to be able to help and support. This is an opportunity where families and mums, dads, whatever orientation, they really need you, and they need your wealth, your expertise, your life skills, and actually your advice and your support from another perspective, someone who's not directly involved. So if you've been nurse or carer, or you know, you've looked after people, or you just, that's your personality and that's who you are, literally, as I say, I would like to think that you will look at it on your diary or on your calendar and go, I'm really looking forward to see this family, to see how they've grown since the last time I saw them, or to see how the little ones have changed, or to see how mum's confidence has grown. And I really feel as though every time she'd come, she'd be like, oh, Dee's really growing in this area. Or she'd see me or she'd go, Dee's being truthful, she's being honest with her situation, and there's so many layers. It's about people, isn't it? If you love people and you love serving people and you've got that time, even if it's only 2 hours and you do it for the one, that one could have been me that lady did it for.
You never know, she may end up listening to this podcast.
Yeah, she might be. And if she hadn't have done it for the one, there was nobody else there for me.
Amazing.
So do it for the one. If it's only 2 hours and you're doing it for the one, it is important. Do it for the one, because the one is just as important as doing it for many.
Well, thank you so much. It's been emotional, and I'm not joking. I think we need to go and have a cup of tea now. What do you reckon?
We need a cup of tea.
And make it a strong one.
Yeah.
I want to say, Mum, thank you so much for all the sacrifices that you've made for us. You've really helped us in our lives, and you've shaped us into the brave young women that we are today, and we're so thankful that we have you in our lives to inspire us and to be there for us and to build us and to just show us that even through all the challenging times that we've always got someone to guide us through what we're going through and to always help us out, and we are so thankful and we love you so much.
I always remember Mum was always feeding into everyone else around her, and now I really hope that people will feed into her like she gives and gives to everyone else, and I hope that this will be a great new journey for her to get back what she gives out. So we love you and we're really proud of you.
Hi everyone, I'm Tammy.
And I'm Alex.
And we are from SMJ Media Group.
We create fun-filled content for local businesses and for you guys to enjoy.
If you enjoy our content and would like to see more and let us get more creative, there is a way you can sponsor us at buymeacoffee.com/SMJ
Media Group.
and buy us a coffee.